Welcome everybody to the stream. Sean Staplefield here. And today I will be honing and sharpening and doing a experimentation, a continuation of a topic that I'm interested in. I saw a friend of mine, you guys know him as the Unknown Stone. I keep on saying Devin Jackson, but his new channel is called Unknown Stone. So if you haven't checked him out, check him out. I don't have a link to his YouTube because I'm doing a live stream. If I make this public afterwards, I will link him in the channel. But he made an interesting topic talking about slurry and how that convexes the apex and how that can affect the honing process, and sometimes you're not hitting the edge. I want to take a time here to say hello to a few friends of mine that are in the chat. Neiman, thanks for being here. You are the first one, so you win. Your hands are so busy when you talk. Yeah, I do a lot of Keith Johnson over here, which is like do that, move my hands when I'm talking. Or a good Cajun. But this is a continuation of Devin Jackson's topic about convexity. It's just interesting. So we're going to go ahead and start some honing, do some testing, because I honestly don't know what to expect, but I want to do my own testing. Devin and I have talked about this. Sometimes we talk about certain things here in the community, and we expect people to try them, but a lot of people just watch the video and don't try it for themselves. I am one of the few that when a friend of mine puts something up, I try what they're saying. And I want to maybe put this up a little bit higher, and that way it's a little bit more comfortable for me to hone in the hand. But we will see. Yeah, there you guys get a better view, I feel. So I'm making a slurry. I want to reset this Freador Inox, so hard steel. This will probably make it harder for me, any test that I do, because I feel like the gold standard is carbon steel. D Namel, yeah, a late night live. Thanks everybody for being here. So I'm making a pretty thick slurry. And there you guys go, Unknown Stone. So we will be doing some testing here on Devin Jackson's Unknown Stone topic on slurry and convexity. So yeah, I am one of the few that when a friend of mine makes a topic, I do like testing it out for myself, because you can always learn something. Hope you're doing well, Dev. Yeah, I brought this 1K Cho out just to like reset what we have here. So already this is getting pretty dark, the slurry. Hope everybody is doing well. Today I had a long day at work, and now I just got back drinking my creatine and VCAAs and just having some fun honing. Now it's relax time. And this is something I do every day. I always like testing stuff. And I hone a lot of razors and rehone them even when they don't need them. Rick, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Just doing some testing here. All right. So I think we have a bevel set. I will check with this tomato if it's going in. Okay, it's going in. If you don't test stuff yourself, you're just a sheep, and sheep are cool, but they're loved. I am a firm believer in testing out things and making sure that you have a system that works for you. I'm gonna go all the way to 3K. After I'm done like resetting this, I will be going to, I think on his video he used a Coticule. Well, he used a variety of stones, but Coticule was one of them, and I have one here that's pretty soft. Doing a few half strokes here. And this is pretty dry. Gonna wet the razor, and that should take care of it. And I've been enjoying doing these live streams for you guys because I can chat. And I can answer questions in real time and talk with you guys and say jokes and shit. Just shoot the shit. So this is a pretty dark swarf here. Making sure I work the heel. And we have even coverage. A Greek salad. I want to keep all these stones here to the side. You guys can see them over there. So I have the 1K and the 3K Chosera. And then I have a Fuji 8K over here. This one's a pretty thirsty one. But right now I'm just like resetting, starting from 0. This is the 8K Fuji. This is a pretty fine stone. It has served me well. It gives a really nice polish. Compared to other 8Ks, I think this is one of the best ones you can get. If you can get your hands on one of these and try it for yourself, I think you will not be disappointed. So we're going to create a slurry here on the 8K, and hopefully it doesn't dry up too much. Have you guys ever used a Norton 8K? I haven't used one. I've heard. So their spreadsheet on microns came out, and it's not really an 8K as you would say for a like on the GIS standard. Cornell, thank you for being here. Okay, so we have a pretty thick slurry there. Gonna add some hydration to the surface. And let's see. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back down after this. I'm going to go to Coticule. I just want to make sure I have everything reset. That way I don't have any what do you call it? Headaches. Try to avoid headaches. Make it easy on yourself. Reset everything. I don't remember what was in here. But Rick, if I ever get to, yeah, same as Eric, I would love to try it. I would love to try every stone. I wish I was rich. Maybe when I get monetized, I can buy some and then just give them to you guys. Oh, you can dream, Sean. You can dream. I feel like all the, and I don't know if Namel knows about this, but I feel like all the old crew that used to hone razors, that was their go-to, the Norton 4 and 8K. So we're just sharpening a razor here, making it really keen. I have a tomato here to my right, so I'm going to do a few more passes, and I'm going to open a tomato in half. I'm going to do some bad things to that tomato. And we're still using Slurry, the test, and the discussion that Devin talked in his video, and he's here in the chat somewhere. I hope he is. I think he's at work. He's always working, but he could... he can speak for himself if I say something that maybe I understood wrong on his videos, but there is a micro-convexity when you use Slurry on these stones. Raleigh Foster is in the chat, my friend. I hope you're doing well. This is a Freador 14. This is a stainless steel razor. And I sent you the link to your razor. I sent it this morning. Well, my secretary slash wife-to-be sent it to you this morning. So I sent you the tracking and all that stuff. I put some oil on your razor. Raleigh, when you're sending a razor, make sure you coat it with some type of oil. I put mineral oil on yours. Because there can be some oxidation on it. Okay, so that's biting real easy on the tomato. So now we're gonna go to this bad boy. That is it's one of my finest Coticules that I have, but it's also not super hard. It is fine. So the garnets that are in here, what makes this abrasive is they're pretty fine. And it has a nice BBW or La Lorraine. I'm pretty sure this is La Lorraine though. Now I don't like using my Coticles on a DMT, but on this case I am going to round this edge a little bit here on the side. Yeah, so Raleigh, always when you send a razor, because they're carbon steel, they oxidize. Make sure you put some oil on it. So when you get your razor, it's gonna be good to go off the bat. All you have to do is take a paper towel, take the excess oil off, and it's already been stropped, so you don't even have to strop it. In fact, I recommend you don't strop it for the first few times. Well, the first shave. I wouldn't strop it the first shave. It's like the Coti. You hear all the mess over them. Rob C. told me in countries that have barbers, Italy and Belgium. Yes, they are the... I think they have it on their website as well. That they are the #1, the preferred stone for barbers in Europe. I saw it on their website somewhere. I need to check it out. Because they have some really nice Coticles now on their website, and they changed the product page, so it's a lot more user friendly now compared to how it was. So, I'm making a slurry here. This is a good amount, I would say. And I think on today's live, I have a better view, so you guys can see a lot better. Okay, we're going to start with some half strokes. I can already feel some stickage here. The less lat is a really fast cutter compared to the base stone. Gonna put a little bit more slurry on this. I want to make sure I don't lose any slurry. So these are natural stones. They have abrasives in them. The more you slurry them, the more the abrasive cuts. It's a lot more abrasive, and the less slurry that you have on them. And the slurry is this milk-looking substance. And the reason why I'm saying that is we have 120 viewers. So for all those you that are joining us, this is sharpening a razor with a natural stone. This came from Mother Earth. So these are called X strokes because you're literally using the blade and you're doing an X. Alex, you don't have to worry about it. It just arrived today, your razor, so. Gonna lower this a little bit so it doesn't make so much noise. So I have some slurry here. It's very faint. So I think I'm gonna stop there. I think I already convexed enough because I used slurry on the 1K Cho. I have a... By the way, guys, if you haven't checked JSB Shaves, go check him out. He is a young guy like me. He does DE, but I don't know. I just love watching people my age come into the hobby. Alex is one of them. Okay, so we went with slurry on the 1K, 3K, 8K. Gengius, this is a Freador razor. This is an Inox. You can see it right there. It says Inox. And we're testing out if using slurry on your stones convexes the edge. I have a feeling that it does micro convex the edge. The question is how much. I feel like that micro convexity gives it a little bit more comfort. I want to see how long it takes to bring this edge back. So in Devin Jackson's video, this is a continuation to the discussion, but his original video, you guys should check it out. When I'm done with this live stream, I'll link it in the description below. So this is all just razor geeky stuff talk. So in his video, he uses a microscope. I am not a big fan of microscopes, but I have another idea of how I'm going to test this out, and I'm going to kill the edge and see how much it takes to bring this edge back to life. So right now, it's not cutting into the tomato. I mean, there it cut. So I'm going to do another pass on the side of the stone. So 2 passes. Get on my skin. So you really have to push hard for this to cut anywhere. You're gonna have to do like a sawtooth motion. Let's do one more, just in case. Yeah, that does not have an edge. It has that micro convexity, but we took off the very top of the razor, of the edge. And now we're going to go to the 8K Fuji and try to see in real time how long it would take to bring this back to life. So now we're going without slurry. So how many laps should I do before testing? Should I do every 5, every 10? That is something I did not think about when I started this. I had the idea of, because I always do that to test, 8. I have an 8 in the chat. I did 5 there. Nobody else said a number, so... Okay. So 8 on the heel it went in, but I'm not counting that because it seemed like on the heel it was a lot sharper on other places. But we did kill the edge. Jasp, good bunch of guys. By 50, 100 microscope is a great way to see. Is there any scratches from previous stones left on bevel? Yes, sir. We'll do another 8 and see if we can chuck that tomato. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, your mileage may vary depending on what stone you have. I'm not going to use that tomato. I'm going to use a new one just so it's fair. So far, 16. Okay. The heel seems to perform a lot better. Okay, it's biting now a little bit more, but it's not there. I did kill the edge pretty aggressively. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I guess that's 9. I did one more. Sorry. So we had 16. 16. It went into the tomato a little bit better, and then we did 9 more. Get a tomato. Okay, there the tip started to bite. Okay. Okay. So it's going in, but man, these tomatoes suck. Look at that. So with a, and this may vary between viewer, because we don't have the same stones, we don't have the same pressure, we don't have the same razors. This one took, what is that, 16 plus 9? That's 25 strokes on this stainless steel razor. Stainless steel razors, for the most part, are harder to hone. I'm going to take these off. That just goes right off. So your mileage will vary. It depends on the gear that you're using. The abrasive is different. I'm not sure what kind of abrasive this has. But now, so it took 25 to like comfortably 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is 35. Let's do 40. One more. That is 40 strokes, and we'll check the tomato. So on carbon steel, what I'm trying to say is on carbon steel, it might be a little bit faster. Okay. So once it's biting, I know I'm reaching the apex because I killed it on the stone, and we're good to go. Killing a razor on the stone is pretty bad. I wouldn't recommend it. I do it for testing. Jazz Shade says, straight razors seem difficult, but is something I want to try eventually. It seems difficult. It really is not. So I wonder, I should have had my scope here to check the scratch pattern. So I'm gonna try raising the bevel angle with tape. So now it's steeper, and I'm gonna put slurry. So I'm gonna make it steeper, and I'm gonna use slurry and see when I take the tape off how that affects what I'm doing. So I'm gonna clean the stone over here. So that is interesting. The Rev, thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for everyone to be here. Jazz, thank you for being here. I wish I knew your real name instead of saying Jazz. So we're going back to the 1K because I want to set it with tape. Last time it took us 25 strokes to bite into the tomato. Jared. There is another Jared in the straight razor community. It's nice to have you, brother. If you haven't seen Jazz shaves before, go check him out. And Jazz, if you haven't seen some of the friends here, all of us are content creators, and we have a really nice group. Alex, 757 History, check him out. Check out Eric, check out Rick. Hope I'm not missing anyone. So, mileage varies. What do I think? Okay. What I have, after doing this experiment, what this makes me believe is that it kind of affirms my suspicion that we have to be careful when we use, or not careful, just cautious on microscopes, because they don't tell the whole story. One thing I was telling Devin the other day is like, when I use a microscope one way and then I tilt the razor another, it shows me different like colors. Like sometimes it's whiter, sometimes it's darker, sometimes it doesn't show some striations, other times it does. So I am interested to see I would be interested to see someone else in the community continue this discussion. This all started on Devin's channel. If you haven't checked him out, go check him out, The Unknown Stone. So far, with that first experiment, I should have done some spine trailing like he did. I just did spine leading because I knew the spine leading kind of affects the edge a little bit faster than the spine trailing. You should be able to get 20 to 40 shaves between. Some of us are in the hobby for honing. Yes, we hone a lot more than we actually need to because we enjoy it. To the 147 people watching the live stream, thank you for being here. I am sharpening this razor on a synthetic stone. This is a whetstone. It's a really fun hobby, and then I shave with this. Not today, but I do make videos shaving with this. Okay, so you should have a bevel set. I should have killed the edge as well. I'm not the greatest at making experiments. I should have killed the edge here, but it doesn't matter because I changed the bevel angle completely. So I want to make sure that I'm biting. So far, and always remember Oh my god. And Genghis said it. I was going to say it, and he said it in the chat. Always change your tape after this stone, because you grind it down. And he is completely right. Great call, my friend. And I'm actually prepared. I prepared a little bit because I have another piece of tape here to my right. So, another piece of tape. I hope I'm saying your name right, Genghis. Michael Shearer, hi, my friend. Thanks for being here. And Justin from Just Shaves. You guys haven't checked out Just Shaves. He is all about DE. Hopefully he gets into straight razors, but in my opinion, he makes the best comparison videos. He is very respectful when he does his experiments, his comparisons. He's a great guy. Just because you guys aren't straight shavers like us doesn't mean we can't coexist, you know? We still share a lot of similarities, like soap, brushes. Should you use hot water, cold water? We can still get into arguments. Yeah, Just Shave is great. You will love his content, my friend. So, now I'm on the 3K, making some slurry. So I do believe, so far, these are my thoughts. The edge does micro-convex, and that, I think Greg Gallant has talked about this in the past, but that does offer a form of comfort in the shave. I have experienced it myself. I have felt comfort when using the slurry. Gary Shaves is here, or the Razor's Ninja. Making sure the slurry is dark, that way I know I am using it. I appreciate you, Justin. I got a new Chevette, Justin. It is a, it's like a Feather Professional clone. I'll be making a video on it. I used the Feather blades, the professional ones. I really enjoyed it. If you ever dive into traditional straight razors and you get yourself one, you have a good group of people here that are willing and eager to help you, my friend, because I think everybody here that makes videos, and it's mostly everybody in the chat, we all want to help out each other and grow the hobby. This is a pretty thick slurry. I should probably water this down a little bit. I keep saying what my thoughts are on this. I think it does micro-convex the very edge a little bit, give some comfort. How much that micro-convexity is with these results, I think that's why a lot of people still use slurries, because I think there is a microconvexity there. I'm not sure how to say how much is there. All I know is, and I don't want to speculate how much microconvexity is there because I don't have the tools to say that. What I will say is that here it took 25 strokes on a stainless steel razor to reach the apex, and that was killing it. You should never kill So if you're not killing the edge, it might not be as drastic. But I don't know, because everybody's gear is different and everybody's pressure is different. Yeah, the level 3, that's the one. $8K without Slurry could bring it back pretty fast. And I wonder if the 8K matters, Devin. So, have you tested between both your 8Ks, because you have the Kuramaku and you also have the Shapton glass. So I wonder if the abrasive matters, if it's more aggressive or not. Okay. Josh is here, and he hasn't made a video in a while now, so shame on you, Josh. I've been missing your content, brother. And you haven't made a video. 8K Pro is a little more coarse. Is the abrasive different? Like, I know it might feel a little bit coarse, but, well, yeah. So it cuts faster, the 8K. Holy shit. Larger particles. Kuramaku is a great stones. They're quite aggressive and can make a great job on almost any steel, and it's quite fine. I remember I had that Kuramaku 1.5, and I sold it. I am so sad that I sold it. It was such a good bevel setter. And it was really hard, you know. Okay, so we got a clean stone. We are going to kill the edge. This had tape and Slurry. Oh man, that I could feel it going through the stone. Oh, it still has an edge. So we got to go in again. I hate to do this. We'll do 2. And let's see. So now we don't have an edge. Okay. Your stones are all Kuramaku, Gary? Those are great, man. Don't ever sell them. But the Shapton Rock Stars, I feel like those are the new guy on the block, you know, the bad boy. Sorry, having the drink here because I have been talking a lot. Okay, now with the 8K, no Slurry, no tape. So we had tape on this Inox Freedor, and we had Slurry. I want to see, because now I'm going really drastic, you know. I had the acute angle with the tape. I made it even steeper, and then I put Slurry, so it kind of rounds it off. I do believe it rounds it off a little bit. I don't know how much, and I'm not going to speculate because I do not have the equipment, hopefully. someone in the community that has the tools and the microscope for it can maybe chime in. And that is way too much of a geeky conversation for me to. All I can do is simple tests like these. These are tests. So let's do 10, 10. I can see some swarf. Greg G has done. I don't use it over 4K, so it's not biting in. 10 strokes, half strokes did not do anything. That was 20, and I'm going to do a set of 10 here, X strokes. I can see some freaking metal coming off. It's getting sticky now. So that's 30. Jazz Shaves tells me, what inspired you to make shaving content? Well, when I started, and by the way, I have a video that's coming out tomorrow, and I talk a little bit about it. It is a video I made for a soap company, so paid promotion, just FYI. But everything I say in there, I don't say anything I don't mean. When I started this hobby, I started making videos because I wanted to get insight if my technique was put the steel on the thingy. Well, I have a thingy right here, piece of tomato. Let's see if it's starting to cut. That's my dog in the background. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's biting in, but it's not biting in beautifully. Well, they're bought in pretty. That was 30 strokes. Now we don't have tape, and we had slurry. Anyways, I'm changing the subject here. I wanted to get information on if my shaving technique, and I like to clean this off a little bit because I don't like seeing the dark gray stuff. I started making videos because I wanted to get information if my technique was good. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I started sending videos out to Unknown Stone, Devin Jackson, who's in the chat. If you haven't checked his channel, go check it out. And he would tell me if my technique was good or not. I have the tomato here that's pretty ripe. Okay, now it's biting a little. Oh yeah, it's biting a lot better. That's the sound right there. That's some ASMR. Beautiful sound. So I'm going to do 10 more, and that'll be 60 strokes on here. That's 60 strokes. It's biting in, but it's not biting in how I want it to. Sadir Aubakirov. Hi, my friend. Okay, now. Okay. So, on a stainless steel razor, the different blocks is different grits. So this one is really fine. This is an 8K stone, which means it's going to shave my hair off my arm. That's how fine it is. But it takes a long time to abrade. What I mean by abrade is to remove steel from the razor. This one right here, the green one, this is a 1K one. This one removes material really fast, but it's not as fine. So the edge looks very very rough. This one's a 3K, so this one's an in-between this one and this one. This is what I use to make the jump, so it's not such a high jump. I need to take a new tomato. Yes, I do, sir. And I'm out of tomatoes. I am out of tomatoes. I used them all. So that was 60 strokes, and it was biting in a lot nicer. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 70. Let's do 80, because that's like 40 plus 40 times 2. I don't know. 80. I've heard good things about the number 40. 7, 8, 9, 10. And this tomato's all messed up. This one, oh wait, this one isn't cut. See, this one isn't cut. So, going a layer of tape plus slurry, and now we killed the edge. It wasn't biting into the tomato. 80 strokes, and let's see what we get. So we are making somewhere in between there. I can't remember which was the stroke that it bited into the tomato. I think it was stroke 30. On 30 was biting into the tomato, so that's when it started to make contact with the... and what I'm surprised is I had all that swarf in there, and that's just metal particles. Just by using water, look how much came off, you know? So it's not even like a railroad track. How long does the blade stay sharp? Well, this one is harder to sharpen because the metal is stainless steel. So it's harder. So if you have a carbon steel razor, for the most part, they are faster to sharpen. The good thing about razors like this one that have harder steel is that they stay sharper for longer. Without stropping, I don't know, a friend of mine, Greg Galland, he did 30 shaves without stropping, without anything, just shaving with it, and he had a good edge. But you have a leather strop you can use. And you also have abrasives that you can put on the strop. It's like a spray, and that makes it more abrasive. So all in all, with this testing, what do I think? I still believe in micro convexity. How much and how negative, and I don't know how much it affects it. I know it affects the comfort, because when I use slurry, it makes the shave a lot more comfortable. I think it's like anything. Even when you use the leather strop, when you have a little bit, like people always say, like, oh, careful, because if you just strop too hard, you might make like a micro-convex edge. With synthetic edges, I found that micro-convexity on the strop kind of makes it a little bit more comfortable. It's just something you have to gauge with and play with. Use it on your right hand. I can try shaving with it. It's shaving. Robert, on today's live, I'll make it public so you can rewatch it. We're just doing a continuation on Devin Jackson's discussion on slurry and microconvexity. On this carbon steel razor, I put a layer. I used slurry on it on the Coticule. This one right here. When I used the slurry on it, I went I did the slurry on the 1K, 3K, 8K, and then I went to the Coticule on slurry. I killed the edge on the rock. It didn't bite my skin. It didn't bite the tomato. So I know that I'm not touching the apex. You know, I killed the edge. hit the thumbs up. Brr, brr, hit the thumbs up. And then on the first try, it took me 25 strokes to get the edge back to life without slurry. So I do believe in microconvexity, like I was saying. How much and how little it microconvexes, I don't know. But with today's experiments, I think two things. It doesn't take too long to hit the apex. 25 strokes is not that much. And the second thing is, and this is something I've talked about in the past, is that you really gotta be careful with scopes and what it tells you. And then I did the same experiment, but I wanted to make it even harder for myself, so I put a layer of tape. I did slurry on it, all the way up from 1K, 3K, 8K, and then I killed the edge. I took the tape off, and in 30 strokes, it brought it back to life. So now that goes into a more difficult conversation, which is tape, no tape affects bevel angle. How much does it affect? No, I know you know how to use a scope, but there's a difference between a scope like what's that one called? The Micro Bright, or even the one I have. Like, it tells you stuff, but at the same time, it really doesn't. So I should have used my scope here. Let's do some honing now that we're here. So I do believe people know how to use scopes. I think you know how to use your scope. I think scopes lie, is basically what I'm trying to say. Unless you have one of those big ones. That's just what I'm testing here live. I don't know. There might be things that it might show, but you can't really see, is what I'm trying to say. And we've talked about that before. How I remember that guy on B&B that was over-focused on scopes. And sometimes they can they change depending on how you put the razor or not. Different angles. Well, I wouldn't say it's deliberate. I would say just like sometimes I put the razor like this on the scope, and then when I put it like this, the light changes and it shows things that it didn't show before. Ugh. So now I'm just going to hold this razor up because I have it on my eBay store and I want the person to get it to have a good edge. So resetting at the 1K. Hopefully more people see this live stream and then add their own insight into the conversation, because it's an interesting topic and it's been discussed a lot on B&B. Do you just sell straight razors on your eBay? Sometimes razors, stones. Rick, you're going to have to get me one of those. Okay. Sometimes what I do is, because I do think killing the edge is really aggressive on the apex, and it makes you do more work than you actually have to. If you want to get rid, and now I'm just talking about synthetics, because on naturals, slurry and oak slurry really doesn't matter, because on naturals you have to use slurry. There's no two ways around it. You know, if you're going to use JNATs, unless you're doing synthetic and then going to a JNAT on water, you got to use slurry on a JNAT. If you're using a Coticule and you want to do a one stone hunt, you got to use slurry. What I do is I start with a slurry, and if I want to make that apex a little bit finer, I don't kill the edge like I did on the video. I start with slurry and then finish on water. Is there soaps that are more designed for straight razor shaving? I would say yes. The slicker the better with straight razors. I like tallow-based soaps. Not all of them perform the same way for me. Eric, the Cajun Blade, has a soap that I really like. It's tallow-based. A vegan one that I really like is Subtle Art Soap Company. I like Ariana and Evans a lot. So those all work great for me as a straight razor shaver. I have tried other big brands out there that just haven't really done it for me. So yeah, I do think oil pre-shaves are better. Yes, oil pre-shaves are really good. I've heard if you're using oil pre-shave, put the pre-shave, the oil, with a dry face, not a wet face, because I really like glycerin. Because glycerin, oil doesn't mix with water. So have a dry face and let it sit. So I think that just there on water, whatever micro convexity I had, at least on a synthetic, it took it out. And then what I do is I go to my next stone, and I do a slurry, and I hone on slurry. And this one is a little bit too dry. I hone on slurry, and then I start diluting, and that slowly removes that will slowly take out that. I think that's what it'll do. So now I should have some micro convexity, and now on the same stone I would work here. Synthetics take it out quickly. They are very consistent. The man-made stones. So I start with a slurry, Maybe there's a microconvexity there. I'm sure there is a microconvexity there. I'm just not sure how much that microconvexity is. Let's try it with the Coticule next, but I need to find something to cut. Let me have another drink. I think I'll go 3K to the Coticule and see what that does. I need to start thinking of what to use to cut. To the 58 viewers here, thanks for being here. How often do you use the magnifying glass while honing? When I started, I used it a lot more. And I think a magnifying glass, just get a 16x loop or something like that. Don't get something that will, I don't know. Like I got the Micro Bright, and I remember this one time I did a JNAT slurry, or the first time doing a JNAT, and when I looked at the scratch pattern, it looked very coarse. It looked bad in my eyes when I was starting. And it wasn't that it was a bad edge. It's that the JNATs have a Kasumi finish. So I never shaved with that edge, and who knows if that was going to be like that 1 in a million edge. I'll never know because I never tried it. When you're starting, I would say is just try to learn how to feel. If, for example, on this Coticule, you can feel the different levels of abrasive, like how abrasive it is. And that is why I recommend you always start with a synthetic, because if you can't read the feel of the abrasive, what it's doing to the edge here, you need to go back to your synthetics and learn how does a 1K feel, how does a 3K feel, how does a 5K feel, or whatever it is that you have. And that way you have an idea of, okay, I am removing a lot of material, or I am removing just a little bit of material. Coticules give a lot of scratches, but smooth shaves. Yeah. With the Coticule, I don't really care about the scratches too much. Because, I mean, if you ask a beginner, they'll probably tell you, they'll probably say, wow, the JNAT looks horrible. Plus, again, I have a scope, and I used it on a feather blade, which is one of the keenest DEs out there, the Feather Professional. And the scratches they're worse than a 1K. But it still performs beautifully, Still have some slurry here. And I think that's like a misty slurry right there. So we're going to stop there and just see. But I do need to find something to cut into this. I'm looking around. I need to... See you, my friend. Okay, looking in my fridge. I do have some blueberries here. we will have to do with blueberries. Dude, I love the feather blade. The professional, it's not as keen as I thought it was going to be, but it was a comfortable shave. The feather professional. Okay. Trying to do this without cutting myself, and that is going in like crazy. Hope you guys can see that. So now we need to kill the edge somehow. Let's do 2 strokes. And that's my dog. That's still going in. Two more. That's going in. At the very tip, it's going in, so. Toby, calm down, buddy. It's just a vehicle. So I chose this Coticule because my other one is harder and it's a little bit coarser. This one is a lot finer. This is my baby. This is like, it'll give me a keen edge. Killing the edge makes it less sharp. Yeah, like it's not shaving at all. He can sense the honey. He's going crazy, man. Killing the edge completely. Oh, it's because my partner is here. But I think she's not going to bother us. So, killing the edge completely destroys the very apex. So, we have the very apex. This is what shaves, cuts the whiskers. By killing the edge, I'm making that round. Kind of like that. Removing the burr is... There's not a burr here. Because I was doing equal sides. For removing a burr, I use the nail. But as you can see, there's like, it's not holding to the nail at all. There's not an edge there. But yes, killing the edge also removes a burr. And if you have little divots because you have a coarse, maybe you have some scratches in there. Or peaks and valleys on the edge. Sometimes when you do this, this is very aggressive. Like this is more aggressive than any whisker that you have. What that does is it grinds it down because this is abrasive at the end of the day. Okay, let's start. We'll do 10 strokes and then we'll switch. We'll check after 10 strokes. Because Eric said 8, but 10 is a better number in my opinion. So, blueberry. That's not right. That it's going in already. That's not right. Love you, baby. Let me check another blueberry. I'm going to kill the edge some more because that is not right. There's no way. There's no way it can be faster than a synthetic. So we're really killing the edge now. Don't want to cut my finger off. There's still an edge there, man. Let's check another blueberry. Maybe blueberries are finer than Nothing there. Okay, now I feel like I am giving it a fair. But I really don't need to kill it, you know? I'm only wondering how much it takes to reach the apex. So, Jazz, you were asking about killing the edge. You should never kill the edge. I'm just making it way harder for myself. So now we'll do 10 and check. You got a surprise coming on your channel? I can't wait, brother. Okay. So that's not... 10 strokes is not enough. Because I can already tell. 10 and check is a good measure. I agree so. I agree. On the tip, it went in. But that is not... We'll do 10 more because that does not count for me. Again, this was a discussion that was started by my friend Devin Jackson. That is 20, and we'll check on the blueberry. We're just checking if we're reaching the edge without a microscope. But this is a discussion that he started. This is just my 2 cents on it. My experimentation. I've always... yeah, I could have used a glass. But I feel like killing it on a rock just like... No, you're freaking killing it. Okay. So it took only 20 strokes on the Coticule to bring it back to life. So on 20 strokes, it's reaching the edge. That could be because the garnet, I've heard people say this before, garnets are really good with stainless steel razors. Something Martin has talked about. And Alexa, stop. And maybe he was onto something. Because there's no way... You would think these are a lot more consistent and faster than a man-made stone. So maybe the garnet being a stronger abrasive or harder abrasive is why it got it back to sharp faster. So it only took 20 strokes. Let's see what 20 more does. I could use half strokes like I usually do. That's like 55. Let's do 55. It's not shaving. I think Devin is right. I think that's why. I think Devin is completely right. I think I didn't slurry it before doing it. Okay. Back to square one. No. I did go on the Coticule on Slurry. I did go on the Coticule on Slurry. Didn't I? Can somebody in the chat confirm if I went? I can't remember now. I think I did go on the Coticule on Slurry. I'll do it again. I'll do it again, but I think I did. Did you go from DEs to straight razor, or did I just went... We'll do it again, just in case. Not after you kill... Yeah, after I killed the edge, I went straight to water. That's right. At 25 minutes, you said I went to Slurry on... Thank you, Pete. We'll do it again, just in case. Piece of hair there, so it did cut my hair. So we're testing out if Slurry micro-convexes the edge. It's my belief that it does. I do believe it micro-convexes the edge. What I don't know is how much it micro-convexes the edge. At least on synthetics, the micro-convexity is not that bad. I mean, it only took 30 strokes to reach the apex, and that was after killing it. Realistically, it would be even less, I would say, because you're not killing the edge when you're honing. So that's another factor that I'm just adding to the conversation, but I'm adding it to the conversation, but I don't have the tools to check that, you know? So I bet micro-convex would be worse on a wedge grind as well. I'll bet hollow grounds... Yeah, I do believe hollow grounds and wedges, you have to hone them differently. So, yeah, we finished on Slurry. Jabs, thank you for being here, my friend. Everybody in the chat, you should check him out. Wonderful young lad. Lad, I don't ever say lad, dude. What the hell? So that's going in. That's going in. The blueberries are so small, I don't want to cut myself, and that's going in. So that was with Slurry on the Coticule. I think for the second time, I'm not sure. And these are the little stupid tests I do. And when you're, and you guys should do the same. You guys should try everything yourself. So this is harder than any whisker. This will kill the edge. 3 passes. It's still going in, so. We'll do 10. That is way too much, but for science. When I do the sawtooth motion, it goes in, so just do 5 more. Yeah, no edge there. Kind of went on a risk there, doing it on my finger, but it's for science. Don't do that. Okay, so it depends on the Coticule and the grit size of a synthetic, I believe. I think on any grit, if you use Slurry, without Slurry, I think the edge is like this. With Slurry, it might convex a little bit like that. The question is, how much does it affect? Like, how much time after I convex it will it take me to go back to this? On synthetics, it's really fast. But on naturals, and I think this is what Devin was talking in his video. On naturals, it might be slower, because naturals are slower. You know, JNats are slow for the most part. There are some fast ones, but most of them are slow. This is something Keith Johnson has talked about in one of his videos. I think it was JNats for Dummies. He talks about how they're slow. Coticles, some people say they're slow. I think they're fast. I've done a video going from killing the edge to shaving. Like, I do the honing session in 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, and do a 3-pass shave in under 5 minutes as well. So the whole thing, going from dull. Yeah, Coticles are quite fast, in my opinion. The abrasive is pretty hard. I think I've heard the garnets, people say that the garnets are hard. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So last time it took us 20. I'm thinking this is, yes. Yeah, this is not going in. This is not going in. It went a little bit in on the heel, but I don't count that because it's not the whole entire blade. Seven, 8, 9. Do you finish your hone with the spine leading, or do you always go to the stone edge leading? I have found that to be really aggressive to always be edge leading. Yeah, sometimes I go spine leading, especially when I'm finishing, and I've been doing it when I'm setting the bevel. I've been doing it. So 20 strokes, new blueberry. It's not going in. Oh, it went in on the tip. And before it went in on the heel. Well. So we're reaching the edge. At 20, we're kind of reaching the edge, but I'm not satisfied with how that is going in. Six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's 30, and hopefully here. Let's get this piece right here. You guys can see. Okay. Okay. On the tip now, it's going in, so it is reaching the edge. I do think with stainless steel razors, I'm going to have to talk with my friend Martin and see what he thinks. He's always been saying, Martin has always said, you know, with stainless steel's razors, the garnets really seem to like stainless steel razors, and maybe that's what we're seeing here. So to recap, I think there is some micro convexity when you use Slurry. I think that adds to the comfort of the shave. I think if there's no micro convexity, you would get a keener edge. I don't know how much keener you would get it if you didn't have micro convexity. This is your old Freador, by the way. I don't know how much keener it is or how less keen it is. I think it's negligible, the same way I think it's negligible. I hope I'm saying the right word. It's very small. From what I've seen today, I think the micro convexity is very small, and maybe the difference in keenness is very small. But that is not for me to test. I'm just doing my own little test here, my own bullshit test here. But those are my thoughts. So Slurry adds a little, final thoughts, Slurry adds a little comfort. It adds a little bit more structure, I would say. That microconvexity makes it a stronger edge, perhaps. Maybe it reduces the keenness a little bit. How much, I don't know. The same way I don't know how much microconvexity it adds. But I don't think it's much, because on this stainless steel razor, which is hard metal, on the synthetics, it took the first time 25 strokes. On the Coticule, it took 20 strokes, which is weird, but I think that has to do with the garnets and the stainless steel razor. And then I went even further, added a layer of tape, used Slurry, then removed the tape and no Slurry, and that one took, I think, 30 or 35 strokes, killing the edge. That is my 2 cents on the matter, my little experiment. I think it is a very interesting conversation that Devin started. You should check out his channel. Once this uploads, it might take 1 or 2 days for it to go public because of the processing. But I'll link his video in the description, or his channel, so you guys can check it out. I would like to see other people in the community explore the topic, because it's an interesting topic. And I don't think Devin was saying that Slurry is bad or good, because he says it flat out in his video. He's like, people have been using it for a long time with success, so do not look at this as good or bad. Try to look at it objectively and do your own testing. Always do your own testing. When Devin Jackson or Eric or Greg tells me something, I always test it out for myself, and that's how I grow and become a better honer. Now, on your own test, it might not be 20 strokes, because you might have a different Coticule, you might have a different natural stone or synthetic stone, and the abrasive might be different. The razor, this should, in all theory, if you have my same stones, if you had the same stone with a carbon steel razor, it should be faster, in theory. But this isn't always theory. Sometimes it's about feel. My pressure is different than your pressure. If that is the case, then adding pressure as a variable would be interesting as well. And then the conversation would be how much pressure the person who's honing has to put to take away that microconvexity. It's out there. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making this for you. I always make live streams, or not live streams. I always hone when I get back from work. I've honed like a bazillion razors by now. It's a good time. Anyways, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great one. See you guys.